All right. How's everybody doing tonight? We are going to talk about a few things tonight, and we're going to get this show going. Tomorrow night is Motorcyclism, but we have a Christmas party tomorrow night, so we won't be here. So just real quick, we're not going to have our regular one, but let's get this show started. Let's go right now. All right, here we are, forward facing me now. So tonight we're just going to kind of BS a little bit for a minute and go over a few things. I don't really have a show planned because the show I want to do includes Eddie and his long distance riding and his trip through the Devil's Highway. We're gonna have to postpone that for another week, and I'm gonna have to look at my calendar. I don't think we have anything next week. This week, tomorrow is our Christmas party at work, so excuse me, we will not be available tomorrow to do a Motorcyclism. So I thought I'd get on for a minute tonight and just rap with you for a minute, have a beer. Cheers. You guys, grab you a cold drink. We're in for the night. Share a beer and relax for a minute. Join me in conversation if you want to. If you got something you want to add, join right on in. Converse with me, and we'll talk whatever. It don't matter. Since I don't have a Motorcyclism planned, I know I put that on the header, but I'm just doing that in place of, since we're not going to be here. In the news, I did see that this afternoon over in Sarasota, Florida, there was a motorcycle versus semi crash. I have no details. If anybody has those details, share them with me. 7 motorcycles with 1 fatality is what I saw in the news article that I saw. It's about all it said. 3 or 4 being flown to the hospital, and that's all the information. It's fresh news. Wednesday evening, it said, early or late afternoon. So not the kind of news we want to hear by any means. We do not like to hear that stuff. And gosh, thoughts and prayers out to those people, whomever it might be. Yeah, our thoughts are with them. Hopefully it comes out okay. In other news, the weather around here has just been cold. I've been seeing a lot of motorcycles out. I have not been out. We've been working. I have not been out on mine, but there's quite a few out and about for the temperatures, mid-50s, which really isn't cold to some of you folks. After living down here for 3 or 4 years, getting acclimated to the 120 degree, the most of the year hot, hotter than where I came from temperatures anyway. Mid 50s is a little chilly now. It requires a jacket in the morning. I can tell you that's in the 40s in the morning, but it does require a jacket for sure. I found this meme today. Let me move it over here. And it just, I don't know. I've showed it before, and you just hear about it and you talk about it, and we always talk about it. And it's like, One day you'll wake up and there won't be any more time to do the things you've always wanted to do. Do it now. Well, some of us have work in the way, I know. So hang on here. I got my train of thought. Any new updates on Donovan? Let me come back to that, Rodney. So one day you'll wake up and there won't be any more time to do the things you've always wanted to do. Do it now. We always talk about this, and it's like we all have an expiration date. None of us know when it is. And so I don't know. To me, it's important to try to get out as much as I can and go see things that that I have never got to see before, and kind of gotten into history kind of a lot lately. I've been more interested in history and historical places and stuff like that. So we try to get out and go see those when we can. But just, I don't know, yeah. I'm going to jump over here and look up this update real quick. There was an update, Rodney. I think I posted the most recent one. I'm going to check and make sure I did get the most recent one. I know that his mother is the one that does the posting, and her work has taken her out of town. So let's look here real quick and make sure that we have the most current. And then, yeah, we'll go over that. He is making progress. It's tough. He's having tough days. Physical therapy is not going to be easy by any means. And after being stagnant for the amount of time that he has been, it makes it harder. That physical therapy is very painful. Another comment here. Life gets in the way of living sometimes. Most of the time. Until you can retire. And even then you have things to prioritize. But before then, I'll tell you, making a living gets in the way of living. But we have to do it. We have to work. We have to pay our bills and feed ourselves, right? I mean, pull this up real quick and look, make sure I got the December 3rd was the last one, and I posted it on my site. And it goes in to talk about being in the pediatric unit. Let me turn this thing off here. Being in the pediatric unit and getting ready to remove his pins in his left wrist sometime tomorrow, which would have been the 4th. So, like I said, his mother's been out of town, so we don't have any updates. Probably won't for a week or so. This is posted on my Helmet Talks Facebook page for y'all. But here, let me just embed it in this video. Let me shut that down. I keep forgetting I got the capability to pull it right up here while I'm sitting here looking at it. Make it a little bigger for you. There we go. So there's the update. I'm just going to embed it in here for anybody that wants to pause this video after the fact and read through it. Again, it is also posted on my Helmet Talk Facebook page with pictures. So go on there and look. They had visitors for Thanksgiving and stuff. There you go. Long road for that young man. His elbows are starting to like fuse together. I didn't know this. Let's talk about this for just a second, because I didn't know about this. Maybe some of you do, or have heard of this before, but if you don't use parts of your body, like your limbs, like he hasn't been able to use his limbs because they were all broke up, right? For a certain amount of time, your body fuses them together. So it's like his elbows are growing together and stuff, and they're going to have to be rebroke and whatnot. Yeah, like I said, physical therapy is going to be tough, and he needs all the prayers that he can get. And I posted an article the other day about the sheriff asking for prayers, and you can't ask people for prayers. Well, yes, you can. The anti-praying community, I don't really care what they say. So please pray for Donovan. Keep him in your thoughts. Oh, yes, yes. And there was an accident, and a friend of Rodney's has a broken neck. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers as well for a speedy recovery and a full recovery. A lot of incidents happening close to home lately, and it just I get, I don't know, it's kind of crazy because it's been really busy with like accidents and injuries and hikers falling and automobile crashes, and every day we have those around here. Every day we have crashes and stuff, and a 69-year-old man rolled over yesterday on the old highway, old 91, and lost his life. And it's just like, man, that brings me back to my whole this little thing right here. Because you never know. You never know. And and when I talk about this, I don't just talk about it to get out and do epic stuff, which we need to do that when we can. We need to get out and see things and do things, but also to spend the time with your family, with your loved ones. Make sure you don't leave the house without letting them know you love them and stuff, because like I said, you never know. And we all have an expiration date. We just don't know when it is. And it's just important to let your people know what you think about them, or that you love them and stuff and whatnot. So, what else did I have posted on there? There was another one that I come across. Let's pull it up for a minute. Sometimes, I don't even want to go into that one. That one's a different story. I just wanted to jump on real quick and let everybody know that we won't be doing a motorcyclism tomorrow night, Thursdays. I had to postpone it last week. Now I got to postpone it this week too. And I did say we'd be on this week before I realized that I have my Christmas party, and we're not missing it. We're gonna go hang out and eat some food. Not that I need any. I'm wintering very well, by the way. I don't know why. Cheers, by the way. wintering very well. And well, that's just all I'm going to say about that. I need to get out and do some exercise. I need to get out and do some jogging or something. I don't like to. It's not that I don't like to. I haven't done it in a long time. And I guess for lack of better terms or better words, is I've just gotten lazy and it's showing in my midsection. Time to get doing some exercise. Listen to some podcasts today. Actually, I listened to a bunch all day long. Burned up my headset listening to crap all day. But one of the topics that was discussed in all that I listened to was helmets. So let's talk about helmets for just a minute, because everybody that wears them has a preference. Now, if you're in Nevada, you have to, but everybody has a preference. And in the discussion today, they discussed half helmets. They didn't even talk about 3/4 helmets, but we'll bring that one up. 3/4 helmets. Then they talked about modulars, full face, and halves is what was discussed today. And I rode a lot of years without one. When I first started wearing one, I started wearing a half helmet, and I always kept a half helmet in my bag on my side, in my side bag, because it would fit and I could tuck it down in there, and it was just a novelty helmet. I always kept one, even when I didn't wear them, so that when I'd hit the helmet states, I could pull over and put them on. Because I've always lived next door to helmet states. I've pretty much have always lived in a non-helmet state, but next door there was one. So any given riding day, you would need your helmet, right? You leave the house without it, but at some point in that day, you were going to put it on. Even when I was in Texas, I was right on the Louisiana border. And first time I was in Texas, when I was in East Texas in 2010, I was on the Louisiana border, and you had to have it going to Louisiana. Well, we did most of our riding in Louisiana. So you'd have to stop and put it on. West Texas, well, by then I was wearing one, so I didn't pay attention. I don't think there was any helmet state close to where I was over there, but I always wore it by then. So anyway, the discussion was about half helmets, modulars, or full face. And the preference that come out of the discussion that I listened to was for a half helmet, unless you were in bad weather. I got some different schools of thought on it. Like first and foremost, I'm pro-choice on helmets. If you don't want to wear one, don't. I didn't for a long time. I'm not here to tell you that you need to wear one or anything. I wear one for personal choice. And if I'm gonna go through the discomfort, I guess, of wearing one, I'm gonna go all out. And so I wear a full-on full face. I have a friend, but years ago, when they first started doing the modulars, he had gotten a crash and it broke his helmet. The modular part come apart. So I've always been against those. That was, I can't tell you what year it was. It was a while ago. And so I just do the full face, can't be opened or nothing. It makes it really hard to drink water while you're traveling. I always carried a water bottle and with a flip top, and I could flip the top with my thumb and drink my water. Well, since I've been doing the full face thing, I can't drink my water. Man, out here, you need it. You can do over the, what do you call it? One of those hydration packs and stick the hose up under there and drink out of that. You can do that. Most of the time, I don't want to wear it and babysit it, and so I don't. So the only time I can drink water is when I'm stopped. So that's something to think about. If you had a modular, you could still. My lady wears a modular. She can flip the chin piece up and get herself a drink, right? Well, we're going. I miss that portion of having my face open. I like to have my face closed because statistically, if you look up the statistics on motorcycle crashes and whatnot, generally it catches you about the ear. And so with a half helmet, it fits like this ball cap does. And all that's really protecting is the top of your dome and the back of your head. Usually when they go down, their head bounces. And so you are protected for that somewhat. I like the wraparound. I like the full thing. So that's my opinion on it. What's Rodney got to say here? Don't take life for granted. Hold your loved ones. Keep them close. Tomorrow could be their day or your day. We are never guaranteed. Live every day like it's your last. That's right. That is right. That's another angle of looking at it. Is it may not be your last day, but it could be theirs. Very good. But anyway, on the helmets, give me some thoughts. Anybody? Preferences, so on and so forth. I quit carrying a half helmet. In fact, I had 10 of them, 10 of those half helmets. I was the dumb guy that would see one in the magazine or online and be like, this is the world's smallest beanie DOT. And I'd fall for it every time, and I'd order me one, and it'd come and it'd look like it. You know what it looks like when it's setting up there. And so this was before I was committed to wearing a helmet. So that's when I would wear one when I had to only. So I had 10 of them. And when I had my store in Odessa, Texas in 2018, we had a store over there, and I put those things on a bargain table. I had one table back in the corner, and I just called it the bargain table. And I put all those helmets on there and put a $10 price tag on it. And I sold every one of them. Every one of those buggers went. But so I don't have any half helmets anymore. Even the novelty ones went. Every one I had, but I'd just been packing them around from state to state, and I got tired of packing them around and loading them and boxing them and unloading them, and I wasn't going to use them. When I decided to commit to myself to wearing a helmet full time, I went all out, and so that's why I do the full face thing now. Just my personal preference, and I look at it this way, I still hear people say, and again, this isn't a helmet talk, but since I'm talking about it, I'm going to give you some of my ideas and my thoughts. But it isn't telling you have to wear a helmet by any means. Like I said, I'm pro-choice on the helmet thing. I think if they come out and told us we had to wear one everywhere we went all the time, I would rebel against it because we don't like that. We as human beings don't like to be told what we have to do. Tell me I can't do it, and by hell, I'll show you how I can. And that's the attitude that people have. So I like the idea of having a choice, right? And I think we should have a choice. And that is my work. Interesting time of day. Oh yeah. So I was talking about the coverage. So I like I just went all out and did the whole thing for the full amount of coverage. I also have half helmets and novelty. Let me check this real quick. Right on. Get to sleep in the morning. So, yeah, we're sleeping in the morning. It looks like for a few hours, which doesn't hurt my feelings any. Although I don't want to work late. I gotta travel all the way back here and get my missus and take her back to St. George for the Christmas party. We might have one of these. But so anyway, since I brought that up, I thought I'd talk about it for a minute. This is what I was going to tell you earlier was I still hear people saying, I would rather be gone than have to have my brain scrambled and be spoon fed for the rest of my life because I had a helmet on. I'm going to tell you guys through experience, nothing is a sure thing. A seatbelt isn't going to always protect you. It isn't always going to keep you from being fatally injured in a car crash. A helmet isn't always going to do the same. It isn't always going to keep you from being fatally injured in an event of a crash. But here's my thought on it. It gives us either one, seatbelt, helmet, gives me a better chance of surviving and walking away than if I didn't have it on. Now, I'm going to tell you through personal experience, I've seen people go down. I've seen what happens when their head bounces off the pavement and there's no protection. I've seen where they've gone down and got up and walked away because they've had some protection. So, food for thought. Take it, leave it, whatever. Just helpful hints. There's a lot of new riders, and I wanted to get the stats. That's what I was going to do today, and I forgot to do it. But I was going to get the stats on new motorcycle endorsed riders, but I forgot to do it. But I'm telling you, today there's so many more, and people are riding younger. Our new friend here in town that we've been following his progress, 17 years old, and was in a bad crash where a car ran over him. They're riding younger and younger and younger. I was 19 before I took to the streets legally on a bike that would actually take me down the highway. I was 19 years old when I started. I had an old Honda 90. I can't remember what model it was. It was Enduro. I rode it in the dirt, but it was too fat for the dirt. It was heavy. You couldn't really jump it or nothing. But by the time I took to the streets and the highways, I was 19 years old. And then pretty much I've rode most of my life, right? So yeah, anyway, I was just saying today they're younger, a lot younger. I couldn't imagine going state to state and stuff. Being basically a teenager, but It's kind of the thing now, and a lot of people are riding, and a lot of young people are riding, and that's great. I want to see them riding. Get out there and ride. Be safe about it, and that's why we talk about the stuff we talk about. Hopefully, it'll help somebody along the way. Yeah, and that's something that I kind of touched on, because you hear people say it all the time, and it's the same, with the seatbelt. And I'm not even going to get into that, because I've got many more stories about that than I do helmets. But your chances with it on are a hell of a lot better than they are with it off. I've seen a lot of people. Let me put it this way. I've seen a lot of rollovers, and every person that got ejected were fatally injured. Most of them were squished by the car. So, food for thought. We're all, me included, we're all badasses until something happens that's out of our control. And then you're there and it happens. So, anyway, this kind of turned into a safety speech, I guess. But anyway, to each his own. Do your thing out there. Get out there and ride. That's a big thing. Get out there and ride and do stuff. Live your life. I can tell you, for maybe 10 years. Yeah, at least 10 years. I was so busy working that I forgot to live. Living wasn't important to me. Working and making money was. I didn't do a lot in that time period. Worked 7 days a week. I averaged about 110 hours a week. I don't leave a lot of time to go out. I had motorcycles sitting in the shed, in the garage. I had horses. I didn't have time. Those things weren't important to me. Work was. You never hear anybody on their deathbed say they wish they had worked more, do you? It's more like, man, I wish I'd have saw this. I wish I'd have went here. Golly, I was going to go see the Black Hills. I never did. Those are the things that people regret. They don't regret working their life away. But for about 10 years, that's what I did. So I'm speaking from experience. I'm not just saying these things because I think it's what I need to be saying. I'm saying them because I did this crap. So, and they were the 10 good years. 10 good years. I was still a lot younger, but food for thought. Just so get out and do stuff. Go live your life. Don't get so busy making a living that you forget to live your life. You see that meme running around and everything, and I'm here to tell you, I agree with it. I already did that. And I'll never get those years back. I'll never get that time back. I'll never get that time that I could have spent with my kids as they were getting older. Now they're all adults, and hell, they don't have time for me. They're busy. They got busy lives, kind of like I did. Take some time. Also, I think that's it. I can't remember what else I wrote down on the thing, but I think I just BS. Like I said, I didn't have a show planned, because the show I got planned is having Eddie do some talking. So I think next Thursday we should be able to do it. We got one more week for Christmas, right? So it should be this week. Next week should be good. So we ought to be on here next week. Then we'll probably skip the next week for Christmas, but we'll talk about that then. So I'm going to get off of here, because I'm just sitting here rattling about whatever and nothing, a whole lot of nothing. Oh, goodness. But, oh, this program that I use, they got some new stuff. You can see on the bottom of the screen, it's scrolling. They've got some new toys to play with, which is kind of fun, kind of cool. I'm glad. We're getting better and better all the time. We're figuring out how to do our stuff here. So, yeah, I think we're on our way. Enjoy your night. I get to sleep in. I'm going to take a minute here in just a second. I'm going to fix my alarm because that sucker goes off at 5 o'clock every morning. It's not going to go off tomorrow morning. Have a good night. Peace.